When you are able to find loopholes in the ultimate plan, the endgame of a highly advanced AI-driven genocidal robot, you can be certain that although robotics are advancing at a steady pace, the quality of screenwriting in Hollywood sadly isn't. Hello, namaskar, welcome, swagatam. So today I am talking about the Netflix original movie Outside the Wire, which stars Anthony Mackie. Anthony is also a producer of the film, which leads me to believe that this was a kind of his pet project, something he is very passionate about. Unfortunately, others, the viewers like you and me, may not share his passion. Anyway, starting at the beginning, Outside the Wire is a sci-fi action movie with its story set in an imaginary war-torn region of Eastern Europe in the year 2036. Locked in a state of constant bloody conflict are two factions of Russian insurgents and refugee rebels. American troops are deployed there to keep the peace. So in the missions to keep the peace, there is no shortage of gunfights involving both humans and robots, or Gumps as they are called. The protagonist is a young drone pilot, Thomas Harp, who has never seen war other than from his drone control monitor. Harp is played by the British actor Damson Idris, who we have already seen in one of the episodes of Black Mirror.
Terminal 3? Do you work in that place? Smithereen, yeah.
For an act of disobedience, Harp is deputed to serve under Captain Leo, played by Anthony Mackie. He, as we learned shortly after his introduction, is an android robot.
Only two people here know who and what I am.
You're up.
Your commanding officer, and I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to deal with it.
Together, they venture beyond the boundary of their military base into the war zone with no rules. Their mission is to gather intel that would prevent a terrorist from gaining access to the Soviet-era nuclear missiles. The contact for that intel is from the side of the refugees, Sophia, played by Emily Beecham, and the terrorist, Victor Koval, is played by Euron Greyjoy himself, Pilu Aspek. If you do watch the movie, you shouldn't pay much attention to which faction is controlling what and what is the agenda of either parties, because it won't matter. Sophia's character does get a significant screen time, but in the end, her allegiances, her plans and her intentions all amount to nothing but confusion.
Why should I care?
Victor Koval's role is straightforward in comparison. As the ultimate threat, the terrorist planning to get his hands on the launch codes for nuclear missiles, he is in just one single, albeit decisive scene. So in this movie, if you are wishing for a significant performance by Pilu Aspek, you will be disappointed.
What will you do with so much power?
Now, nuclear missiles hidden in silos all over Russia since the days of the Cold War. This is a staple plot driver of many movies which deal with nuclear threat. Maybe there are a few hundred nuclear missiles laying around out there ready to be accessed by an evil maniac or a criminal mastermind. Or maybe this just resonates with the American sensibilities. But I personally am kind of bored with movies based on a nuclear threat from Russia. Anyway, that is not the core of the movie at all. The movie is actually about Leo and Harp, the human and the android, pairing up in a war zone with a dangerous mission and some confusing exposition while driving, and most importantly, something called the paradox of control. If you try to think about it, paradox of control is a complicated concept dealing with how a robot needs a human master, or how the human programming can be bypassed by an AI or something like that.
In extreme situations, I have the ability to break the rules just like you.
To put this plot element simply, the paradox of control is something that would supersede Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics.
This seems a bit beyond protocol for whatever you are.
So Leo has his own plans for bringing Harp along on his mission.
But I can't do this alone. I need someone who could think outside the box. That's why you're here. I chose you.
Harp, who has never been in a combat zone and who is in way over his head, has no other option than to trust Leo. Then Leo's plan materializes and the entire third act of the movie is Harp trying to deal with the consequences. Talking about the action, the opening sequence where a platoon of soldiers is pinned down in an ambush with machine gun rounds flying everywhere, that was superbly crafted. That scene brings you into the war zone with the noise, darkness, confusion, muzzle flashes and death. That scene hooked me up and my expectations from the rest of the movie was raised higher. But later, gunfights are just gunfights. I can't say the action is bad, it is just not good enough. In one scene, there is a huge gunfight with Harp and a bunch of civilians caught in the middle. There are robots shooting on both sides and some terrorists in the mix, but you wouldn't care to follow who is shooting what or what is shooting whom after the first minute or so. Too loud, too confusing and altogether uninteresting. Even the super-powered action from the android Leo was just another run-of-the-mill enhanced action. There are plenty of those out there, both on the big screen and the small, for this type of action to be anything special. The robot visuals are good and realistic, and the explosions, drones and missile effects are really nice. I mean, the explosions are exaggerated to be sure, but hey, it is 15 years in the future. Maybe they figured out how to make the drone strikes more destructive or obliterative. But in the two scenes where Anthony drops his shirt to reveal his robot body, the visual effects are plain bad.
Cool.
And it doesn't help that the internals of this robot body, which simply look like a hollow framework, is ridiculous. And one important plot point,
They put your tracker on your back?
I removed this failsafe.
You did what?
reminded me of this.
What is that?
That's her tracking implant. She clawed it out.
How would it know to do that?
She remembered where they put it in.
I won't say anything which would spoil the surprise if you wish to watch the movie. But if you do watch the movie, please tell me if you end up wondering about the timeline of this event. One bad guy ditches the good guy after knocking him unconscious. He goes on to meet and fight another guy at one place and then proceeds to the final destination. Now, the good guy who was unconscious, he was then briefly interrogated by a third party. Then he walks down, I don't know how far, to reach his army base. There he is detained and debriefed by his superiors. He then convinces them to let him go back and break protocol to track the vehicle of the bad guy through satellite GPS, and then the good guy follows this trail and reaches the destination just minutes behind the bad guy. Are we supposed to think that this is just like the story of the rabbit and the turtle? I'm sure you have noticed this plot convenience of shortened travel time in many movies or shows. Anyway, all in all, Outside the Wire is an action-filled movie whose 115 minutes runtime is only indicative of a lot of war jargon and sci-fi exposition without much of a thought into a coherent storyline, and most importantly, the villain's ultimate justification that actually makes sense. Even though I'm rooting for Anthony Mackie to crush it in the upcoming Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I give Outside the Wire 5 thumbs ups out of 10. What do you think? Have you already watched it? Do let me know your thoughts about the movie in the comment section below. If you like this review, please do leave a thumbs up and do share this video with all your friends. That is all from my side for today. I shall be back with another review or a different video on any other topic. Till then, consider subscribing to my channel, The Versatile Doctor, to stay tuned with me, and do press this bell icon. As always, I'm looking forward to your feedback and comments. You were with Dr. Abhinav Atul, and it is my pride and privilege to be able to connect with you through this video. Namaskar.